It's so good to have you join me once again. It's Rose on all sides. My name is Rose Peter Graham. There's like a billion things I want to talk to you about this week. But there's just some issues that, they are taking the front burner. And of course, we're going to talk about them. Our topic will be coming up pretty soon, but I just have to put it to you. We'll be talking about Omoyele Sowore, who is presently in detention now. The court has granted DSS to keep him so they could continue their investigation. Is going to be behind bars for the next 45 days. And then, of course, the revolution now that is started, that was meant to take up the 5th of August. Were you part of it? Were you consciously, unconsciously a part of it? We'll be talking about that. And of course, our phone lines are open for your contribution. And then, of course, the alarming and overwhelming state of insecurity in Nigeria. It is not funny. If President Muhammadu Buhari is sitting down and not doing anything, he should stand up and work. Talking about Mr. President, a few days ago, there was this photograph of him that was making wave around with him seated, watching television and picking his teeth. And I don't know what his spin doctors or his PR agents or the other officials in the presidency were thinking when they allowed that photograph to go out. It just shows he doesn't care. We're talking about a country that is burning. People are starving. Women are being raped. People are being robbed. People are a government unto themselves, and the president is seen picking his teeth after some sumptuous meal or whatever. That is not what we support. But let us come back to our main topic, which is going to be on Sowore, revolution now, and insecurity. Yes, of course, that's the photograph that I'm talking about of Mr. President picking his teeth when we are having serious issues, serious situation in the country. This picture is just simply telling us, I don't care. I am having the life of my own. I've been contesting, several times I've contested. I didn't win any election, and I did in 2015. I won. It is my time. I'm just going to let you people know what it feels like to be a president. That's not right. It is condemnable. They should apologize for sharing that picture, and Mr. President should be seen to be on top of the situation. On Sowore revolution now and the state of insecurity in Nigeria, I have some guests with me who will be discussing this issue, and I am so pleased to have them. Thank you very much for joining me, gentleman and lady. I have Priscilla Iwepo, who is a broadcaster in Wipo, who is a broadcaster and political analyst. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rose. Pleasure to be here.
Was that laughter because I pronounced your surname wrong?
It was just the challenge that you had. But you're Nigerian. It's Wipo, actually.
In Wipo.
No, not in We. It's just Wipo.
Wipo. So the N is not pronounced.
Silent.
Silent. Oh, that's nice. You should have told me that before we started. Okay then. Beside her is Mazi Abe, a social commentator and a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining me, Mazi.
Thank you, viewers, Rose, panelists. Let's go there.
Okay, and then, of course, Engineer Olusegun Okpanuga. He is also a political analyst and the coordinator, the UK coordinator for the African Action Congress. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us tonight. Thank you.
So I want you to tell me, are you in support of the Sowore's revolution? I want to start from you, Engineer Banuga. Being a member of the ACC, that's the African Action Congress, that's the platform that Sowore contested on in 2019, of course. That was the political party. So you tell me, how fully in support is the party with Sowore?
It's quite a very, very funny situation it's a pathetic situation. Being the fact that yes, we need a social revolution in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, I was even expecting this social revolution to have been declared as an emergency situation even before Sowore even starts up. So the good news is that Sowore kind of increased the tempo of what I would say. It brings out the what everyone has been thinking about. If you hear what Professor Utomi, what he said, where else are we going to have a revolution if not in Nigeria? So what Sowore actually said is in the heart of everyone, even people who are working for Buhari, pretending as if they were with him, but they have to make him feel he's comfortable with what he's doing. Buhari did not start the problem of Nigeria, I must be honest about that, but he's a contributor to the problem, because if President Buhari had not truncated the 1979 democratically elected government, which is a revolution as well. So if it's now coming because there's a democratically elected government and they came like coupists to come and remove those.
Did you mean the 1983?
83?
Yes.
It was 79 to 83.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it must have been around that time. Wherever time it is, he is a participator in.
But I want to know,
yes.
Is your party fully in support of Sowore? Is the party standing with him?
Remember one thing, that there had been some ongoing issues going within the party.
Yes.
Regarding Sowore being suspended from the party. But those are just inner problem.
So you're saying he's a lone wolf?
It's well, I won't say that, because it's an unfortunate incident. I don't know how best I could defend it, but whatever Sowore has actually come out to do, all on his own or with some people that are working with him on that ideology, I believe he has got the full support of many Nigerians who feel that there is a need for someone to come and call an emergency situation into the crisis that is killing, that is destroying the fundamental of the status of Nigeria. Fundamental status of Nigeria. It's about the thing.
So the party is not with him in a way?
I've never said that. I've never said that. I just told you that there are issues. Sowore remains suspended as AAC member through the court of law that they just.
So the revolution is solely his own.
Yes,
child.
because it's not AAC stalwart.
Okay.
I've not sat down with Sowore personally to declare a revolution now. So, but whatever process Sowore used in declaring revolution now,
yes,
is immaterial. The process is immaterial. It's the outcome that matters.
Okay, it's his brainchild, and in a way, you guys are in support of him.
When you say you guys, who are these you guys?
I'm talking about the party.
Well, it's not about you guys. Like I said, he remains somebody who is suspended from the party. You cannot say the people are not in support. Many of the people that I know are already saying things out, but because he remains suspended, and there was an issue that came before the revolution now, he went and designed some beret, and we condemned that. So AAC party dissociates completely from revolution now rhetorics.
Thank you. Okay, so talking about this revolution now, Priscilla, I'm going to come to you. A lot of Nigeria have their, what will I say now? They have their reservation about it, that it shouldn't have been called a revolution, that it could just be a protest and then you give it a name, then followed by some hashtag, then why a revolution? Because this is a legitimate government.
Well, it is a legitimate government. Ordinarily, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the word revolution. But I think that the consideration should have been given to the current state of play in Nigeria, the sensitivity of the government, at present, And there should have been some exercise of understanding of how the government operates. So, I suspect that it's those failings that causes people to say he shouldn't have used the word revolution. Because I think most people would have wanted that if indeed you wanted to, have a real impact and make that change and have the country behind you. It should more be a matter of a protest. And that protest should be one that everybody can participate in if we're thinking about the country as a whole. But if we're saying it's just a case of, this whole situation, you look at it on so many different levels. Because of the character that is Sowore, you can't help but question or wonder, is this really done in the interest of the greater good of Nigeria? Or is it done for the purpose of notoriety as we are now? Because everybody has been speaking about him, since the beginning of the week. And so those things come up, which is unfortunate because the state that the country is in now, something has to happen, something has to give, and that will not give unless the people come out. If people speak in one voice and they're able to express, how they feel, and oftentimes you can only make those expressions through protest and things like that. That's the collective where you hear what everybody thinks, and it's unfortunate that that process at this particular time appears to have been marred, by what has transpired or by the use of a word. But, the irony of it is that Mr. President himself shouldn't be so sensitive. After all, he was one calling for, calling for revolution at one point in his own life in Nigeria. So he should exercise more understanding, more than anybody else.
Okay, Maziabe, you tell me, what do you think about Sowore's person and how he's handling this protest? How I set off with it?
Thank you. To me, and a lot of people, Sowore is seen as a superhero in a comic. This comic magazines.
Yes.
They have superhero.
Definitely.
But the superhero, it depends on who they read the comic and if you're enjoying the comic.
Okay.
You understand? Now, look, Sowore's antecedents precedes what is happening now. Sowore came into prominence. People didn't even know he owned Sahara Reporters. He came into prominence when during Goodluck Jonathan's regime, when all of a sudden he started doing what you call an expose of characters in the government, like Stella Odua. He was coming up with these high wired revelations inside what is happening in Jonathan's government. Now, at that time, some analysts felt that even up till now, if you look at it, I would call Sowore and Sahara Reporters the WikiLeaks of Nigerian politics. Now, if you look at WikiLeaks at that time, even up till now, WikiLeaks, all the revelations and exposés were documents and secrets that were hacked online, electronically. Computer. You hear me? But in Sowore case, Sowore, all the revelations where he was using against the Nigerian government, not be hacking, now manual, which Nigerian minister they put document online. Somebody inside Jonathan's government, they had moles who were giving documents to third parties, and those third parties were giving them to Sowore. So at that time, it was very obvious that Sowore, there's a band in those days, in the 70s, British based, a lot of Nigerians know back in the days, in the 70s, it's called Osibisa. Osibisa had a song, it's called Fire. If your mother tell you not to play with fire, fire will burn you. Sowore has been playing with fire. Now fire don't burn her. You understand? Fire don't burn her. There are many things many things behind. So now they're trying, his supporters are trying to play the victim. But Sowore don't get many. You know how many careers Sowore don't spoil? Not necessarily because he has been doing investigative journalism. It's because he has been playing dirty. The same people when they play dirty with, now he turn around now. You know, like when they turn a bar, they turn. Now they bite them now. You understand? It's the natural law of retributive justice.
Okay, so some people say Sowore is trying to get what he did not get in 2019 during the election when he contested on your platform, the AAC. And we've heard Adam Sowore said, what does Sowore want exactly? Does he want Nigerians to make him the president? Is that what you see, Priscilla? From what Sowore is doing, you think he's trying to look for some other way to be president, or maybe have his name?
Well, you must admit that ever since the election, he's had nothing but trouble, and it hasn't particularly been positive. You know, his party had suspended him. There are allegations, you know, as to wrongdoings and what have you that are out there. So those are not exactly what you want to continue. So you can understand the school of thought that says he's doing it primarily for
personal gains,
notoriety, what he thought he would have in 2019 during the elections that he didn't. However, I don't think I don't know what he was expecting. He clearly wasn't going to win as president, because I think you need a little bit more than you know, the just campaigning, for instance. Although he did very well, I would give him his kudos for that. He did very well with regards to campaigning. He did very well with regards to getting the word out there that he was running. He had a very good message, you know, so I will give him his kudos for that. Well done to him. But he was never going to win as president of Nigeria. He needs to do a little bit more. It's unfortunate, as I said earlier, one of his biggest problems, I think, it's the lack of sincerity of purpose. And because there isn't a sincerity of purpose, people do not necessarily trust him. And so they are challenged to give him, you know, his dues, his fair dues for, you know, when he does something like this. So many questions are out there, you know, as to why he's doing it, as opposed to why don't we all join forces and support him, because really we do need a revolution.
What's your take? Do you think he's trying to get what he didn't get in 2019 during the presidential election?
Well, as controversial as Sowore could be, leaving out completely about the situation that he is in now, and isolating it from the person called Sowore. Sowore came like a big wave, like a tsunami, waiting to erupt and take over the whole system. We supported him because we wanted a change in terms of youth being given a platform in Nigeria. I don't live in Nigeria, I live in UK. But I believe that once we are able to give the voice to those people back home, the young people who are at the bottom of the triangle of injustice, and they're completely alienated from the system, they don't have any other voice. Nobody cares about them. They want them to rot in hell. But we back abroad, the diaspora, we feel, because where we live, we know there is justice, there is humanity, we feel we have to give something back to them, to give them a voice. And Sowore actually plugged into this atmosphere, and we gave him a platform to make him go and show everyone what he's made of. And he got donations, he got everything. We had no problem with that. Remember, the first donation he got was through Take It Back movement. That was what people keyed into. Immediately, the Take It Back movement became a party. Then it's no longer a movement, it's now a party. We separated the movement from the party. That is where Sowore didn't get. He didn't get that information clearly in his own psyche, that There's a difference between Take It Back movement coming from America, with Sowore being the one at the anchor point, and African National Congress registered in Nigeria as a party.
Okay.
That's where Sowore got it wrong.
Okay, I have a quick question for you. It's from Tunde Omoboyeji. He said, I should tell you that Sowore's revolution is now, Sowore's revolution is not the party's program, that it is different.
He's repeating exactly what I've just said.
Okay.
That he remains suspended. The time he rolled out this revolution now, he's still under suspension. For so there's no way Sowore could have bypass when there's no.
Would you say Sowore finds it difficult to work within a structure, a laid down structure? Or
Remember, from what I've seen about Sowore's character as a person, is that he's a kind of person that finds it very difficult to work with the right people. I don't think he has the stamina,
the patience, maybe.
The stamina, the capacity, intellectual capacity to work with the intelligentsia, the real people who can make a big turnaround in Nigeria. And when he declares this revolution now issue, which is not AAC backed rhetorics,
yes,
then you can see the kind of people that surround him. They are like hooligans. And unfortunately, you cannot see any right-thinking people, professionals like us, keying into that, because we never said you should go and do that. Because we would not use those words, because we're going to follow proper procedure and ad hoc stakeholders meeting to know how we're going to roll our information out, because we want to attract people that we are the party for the future. And we are actually the party for the future. Unfortunately, Sowore doesn't follow procedure, and he doesn't want to listen to the right people who can make things happen for his own dream. And remember, about the problem about Sowore, if I may say, like I said, isolating the issue of where he is now with DSS, which is what we're going to talk about separately under fundamental human rights.
Yes.
The problem remains that Sowore cannot have patience to work with the right people that could make things happen. He's doing things haphazardly.
Let me take this caller. Hello, thanks for joining us. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
London.
Okay, Ojasope. Thanks for calling us. Let's have your contribution, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, the audience and the presenter and everybody in the studio. Yeah, we love what you are doing. Yeah, my own contribution is just about Sowore. Generally, from my own and understanding of Nigeria's situation now, what Sowore is doing is perfectly all right, perfectly correct from what other African countries have done. Even many other African countries did their own revolution by using guns, by carrying guns, by killing. But the one Sowore is doing, let's forget about what has happened in the past. Let's forget about the past election. Let's forget about the Jonathan issue. Let's forget about what has happened before the blood change. But now people knows, let me tell you, in Nigeria now, every country in Africa, they have degraded Nigerian citizens. If you look at online now, you see, I think it's Congo, the way they embarrass Nigeria diplomats, taking all their stuff, throwing it out. You know, the Congo, they want to retrieve all their stuff from Nigeria. Nigeria has no value now in every part of the world, even in Africa. The way Ghana is treating us, the way South Africa, Rwanda, everybody is treating us bad. So, if you look at what is going on, I believe Sowore came in to change things. Believe that if he comes in democratically, let's do election, things will change, you understand? But later on, I believe the spirit that Sowore have from day one, Sowore is an activist. If you look at the history, you understand? And then most of the activists, sometimes, they fight for human rights, fight for people. I think that's what Sowore is doing. What I believe is that Sowore could have done this one before he decided to come into, say, I want to do politics. This is what I've done. According to what people who are very educated, who knows the reason those fighting for all over the world, even those people where many in Nigeria will not say what Sowore is doing is wrong. And then someone has to do it. And then what Sowore have done now, it has written in history of Nigeria now that somebody has stood up for us, you understand? And then I don't want anybody to see Sowore short for in the past.
Okay.
We don't need to use that one. Anybody that loves Nigeria, from what we are reading today, there were 3 policemen that was killed yesterday. People are dying today. It's not your family to die before you know that. You will stand up. Everybody should stand up. So we don't need to come out before every Nigerian stand up. They are killing our people every day. What I'm telling you now, unless you have not even tasted, anybody that is sitting on the studio and their family has not ever tasted, I pray you will not taste what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is now worthless than Ghana, Rwanda, Congo. You know what? Let me give you something. The president of Nigeria has a lot of blame on this issue. I will tell you why you will blame him. When this president came in, he makes some tour all over the world, and then start degrading Nigerian citizens every part of the world that he went to. If he did not tell them that they are thieves, they are 419, they are not doing this. If we go to, first of all, he went to India.
I know.
Yeah, even
It's
a lot
true.
of places that I can't even talk about. But in case of Sowore now, what you are discussing there, what I want you to know is that from that medium, we have to call the whole Nigeria. We have to stand up because the way things is going on now, don't let us castigate Sowore. Don't let us condemn him. Whatever he has done in the past, that one is past. This is real because the change they promised us, the change is exactly revolution, if you don't know. And when Buhari and other people are calling for revolution in the past,
yes,
most of their supporters use arts, use cutlasses, they do a lot of things, and they kill a lot of people. You understand? So that is what I want you people to know. Anybody that is castigating now, we don't know what the news we are going to get tonight from Nigeria. So the government has to come to table and call Sowore and other youth. You know, they can do a meeting there. They can do a conference. The National Conference of 2014 is still there. Akinyemi, I think, is one of the conveners at that time. Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, 4 weeks ago, said that the result, what can solve the problem of Nigeria is in that national conference. What can they bring this out? You understand?
I can feel your passion. I can feel your passion. Thank you very much, Ojasope. You might want to call back after the program. Thank you. I really appreciate your contribution. That is really huge. What do you have to say to what Ojasope has been saying? Let me hear from you.
What, me?
Yes, please.
I thought I was a forgotten man. Yeah. Anyway, let's start like this. AAC.
Yes.
That's Sowore's party. This is one of the representatives. It's very rich for them to now throw Sowore under the lorry. Oh, we dissociate ourselves from Sowore. Sowore is on his own. Let me tell you something. When INEC started registering all these parties, how many parties now? They reach like 500.
70,
Like,
91,
okay, he knows because it's part of the
yeah.
70-something parties.
It's 92, I think.
92. But they are going to reduce them.
The only country where I know where get those kind of parties now, Italy. There are fractions, and they have to do a coalition and coalition, revolution to form government. But Nigeria is not like that. In Nigeria, there are only 2 parties. Actually, 3. PDP, what's they called now? APC, and others. Those are the three parties. You see all these AAC, all these mushroom parties. You understand? That's part of the problem because it's parties like that. AAC all of a sudden I say, what is their philosophy? They don't get anything. They give them money according to the constitution. You understand? What is AAC? Look, if for instance AAC, they throw Sowore under, they say, who know AAC except Sowore? He was the spearhead of AAC. If you know that he's doing so much wrong, why didn't you expel him? Why suspending? Sir, you understand what I'm saying? So if you come now, because they talk, say Sowore do, if you do anything, AAC is Sowore. Simple.
Can I just come?
Let me finish. Sorry. If you like, wear the most expensive suit in the whole world.
What is it about this?
No, I'm just saying because you see, when we come to studio like this, we talk. When we come to studio,
why the shades?
What's the brand? What's the brand of?
Let me finish my own now. I'm gonna now talk about grammar. Oh, can I finish my own?
Yes.
Am I allowed to finish?
Which Russell Brand?
Please go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
as it were, you understand? So, Mr. AAC, all of a sudden, Sowore is this, is that. Sowore is AAC. If Sowore is bad, AAC is bad. You see, one of the things, you see all this mushroom, AAC, DGCC, but they first come out everybody. They should, any DD way that they do the parties, they should remove them. You understand? No, nothing they happen for Nigeria. Now, what will be your question again?
I'm sorry.
Let's be serious.
You heard what Ojasope said about Sowore being that we should forget about his character,
yes,
or whatever
yes,
image that we might have built about him. Maybe the manner he handles things. So we should all stand behind it.
Oh yeah,
and stick with this
okay.
revolution.
Put it this way. Sowore, like I said earlier, and I'll make that very brief. His antecedents, his person, his militancy, his politics.
Yes.
Ab initio, Yoruba say oku die kato. You see, he's just a chancer. You understand? He comes from the embers of university student unionism. One would have expected at this point for Sowore to have transisted from a student union activist or militant, if you like, to a very, very suave politician. For instance, which is why I was taking umbrage at AAC, the so-called AAC party and their three-piece suits, that, listen, let me finish. Can I?
Please go ahead.
That, look, if you bring somebody like that, you understand, to be your presidential candidate.
Yes.
You understand? If you look at how Sowore came about, through expose, collecting secret documents from third party, fifth element to oppose a government. You can't run for government. You run for president. You fail. AAC did not tell him that, listen, okay, with the leverage you have, why don't you be a senator? Because you see, if you want to do revolution, a different revolution, you understand? There's food revolution, there's palm oil revolution, there's petroleum revolution, there's political revolution. And I think Priscilla mentioned something about social movement. You see, sometimes revolutions are spontaneous, which stems from all the suffering which they happen for Nigeria. Don't be saying you can't go social media, you go television, then they announce revolution. I beg you.
Okay, so that's it. You're done. So I want to find out from Priscilla, with the arrest of Sowore, what do you think? Is some said that by arresting Sowore, they have played into his hands. Is it a right move from the federal government?
Well,
to arrest him?
I think. Do you want to take
Yeah,
the call?
let me take the call. Sure. Hello, thanks for calling. Who is calling? Hello?
Hello.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from, please.
It's Kingsley, and I'm calling from North London.
Okay, Kingsley, thank you very much for calling in. Can we have your contribution?
Yeah, because apparently,
Can you speak louder, please?
hi, the gentleman from AAC in the studio, all looking dapper, is, with all due respect, a complete contrast to the yellow Sowore who are new in the trenches.
Yes.
Obviously, this is me and him going back in the 90s and the days of our struggles. And the other gentleman with the face cap said he should have transitioned into a Sowore politician. May I remind him that you can take the struggle from the man, but the struggle will always lie inherent within the man.
Yes.
The point being, Sowore being charged or being held on trumped up frivolous charges is absolutely the height of an insult upon the collective imagination of Nigerians. If Sowore is calling for a revolution, what form or what sort of revolution is he calling for? Sowore could have been calling for a revolution of ideas. He could have been calling for a revolution of thought. Don't forget, nations in this world, it's not all nations that were built or established through guns and bullets. We've had great nations in this world which were established from ideas. Everything doesn't have to be about violence. Now, and somebody was making a comment on Twitter that I think the state, well, the state being the government in this instance, would have scored an own goal by charging or holding Sowore on the grounds of trying to topple the seats in government, because that would be so hard to prove. Again, like I said to you,
Yes.
Sowore's call could have been a revolutionary call of ideas. Now, the point being, that which is only cogent and verifiable, which can be held against him, is a misdemeanor. Spraying graffiti on a government property, it's a misdemeanor.
Can I?
Which
Okay.
is just being
Okay.
given a fine. And in essence, you see, people are seeing that in the studio today and all across, pockets and groups throughout Nigeria, with us in the diaspora. I just watched a video about an hour ago of Michael Zakume. Apparently, I didn't even know that he had been kidnapped. It turns out that he has just been released by the kidnappers, and Michael Zakume was lamenting his ordeal from the hands of the kidnappers in Nigeria.
Okay, can you make that faster, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the point being, there's a total breakdown of a society in the country. It's a total breakdown. Somebody needs to address it. Now, if Sowore is raising his head above the precipice here, I think Nigerians can just support him.
Okay, that's your stand. Thank you very much, Kingsley. Thank you for your contribution. Goodbye. So you were going to say? Oh, you wanted to respond to Kingsley?
Yeah, I wanted to. Kingsley, how you doing? Thank you for your contribution. It was very measured and appreciated. You made mention of particularly Sowore could have meant revolution of ideas. And, you know, in my own kind of style of talking, I mentioned it, that there are different kind of revolutions. Just like Rose said in our opening, that Buhari was picking his teeth.
In the picture that was
The
shared.
picture that was shown, and that his PR people
Yes.
could have done better. I am also saying, for instance, that Sowore, in his pronunciations, he as intelligent as he claims to be.
Yes.
He could have clarified
What is revolution stood
what
for?
revolution you they talk about. If you want to talk about revolution of ideas, you don't call the ordinary man on the street. Which idea you want to do with the man where they sell pure water? You understand?
Yeah.
You form a kind of group or something. You make proclamations. You can even do an Obasanjo and write open letter.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. Let me hear from you.
Yes, I've been hearing lots of bashing on AAC members, our triple suit, all of those things behind Sowore. Those ones are very relevant. When I was listening to this, I was thinking, what has that got to do with the ideology behind AAC? Sowore attracted a lot of professionals into his ideology, into his rhetorics. That's why you see people like us even joining in. I could have been an APC, I could have been a PDP.
Yes.
But I was trying to identify with somebody, a young person, whom I think can be able to carry most of our thinking, our ideas, our visions. And so Sowore happens to be the one that came on board then, that came into the limelight. He went straight to Nigeria. If he had been doing this in America, no one would have followed him. But because he landed in Nigeria, on the ground, the battleground, and proclaiming about this social injustice and everything, that's why we keyed into him. And immediately we keyed into him, we were trying to set up a structure for him. We were trying to make sure he does everything properly. If Sowore had been listening, but don't get me wrong, we are not done yet. We have not thrown Sowore out. AAC has not thrown Sowore out. He was only suspended for a certain issues regarding raising of fund, which was, like I said, some funds were raised, do not take it back.
Yes.
We were not talking about that. It was when the party was registered in Nigeria, then it became a Nigerian issue. And because Sowore did not separate, take it back from AAC, and he started joining the finance together, and he was making himself prominent. And we were trying to tell him that if he could set up a structure, put a publicity secretary to do the talking, let them be everything. And another thing is, we gave Sowore another ample chance to go and set up through the convention back in Nigeria. That convention should have brought Sowore to limelight. If the structure that we set up for him could have been used, but Sowore blacked it. He went there, he set up everything, he made
This is an APC problem. We are not interested.
Hold on, sir. No.
Let's discuss what is happening.
We have to. Listen, sir.
That's your internal problem.
Internal problem.
Whether you chop money or you don't chop money.
Yes.
That one AACC problem.
You said.
Yes.
No, I have to say because
I'm
you
not saying.
said that.
Because you're already telling us they bought Gala yesterday. That's not what we want to talk about. That's not the issue in Nigeria today.
Is what is an issue?
Well, it's corruption.
Yeah, listen.
So, Sowore, you are already tying your party, Sowore, and corruption. Which is one of the problems in Nigeria.
Now, what I'm saying
because
is
you're discussing your internal problems. Already, AAC is immersed in corruption.
Listen.
With Sowore as the figurehead. So what are we talking? Let's go.
I think that's very wrong. What people do not know is that Sowore has a lot of backing of a lot of professionals back in diaspora,
including yours,
including me and many other people that feel in the same direction. But the unfortunate is that Sowore did not follow structure, and we are very, very thorough people. We are ad hoc people when it comes to structure. But because he didn't follow those structures that were in place, he was thinking that it was going to be business as usual, doing anything anyhow, and he saw the warnings, but he ignored the warnings. And unfortunately, he found himself. But that did not mean that we have left Sowore. Sowore is part of AAC, but he was suspended because of certain things that we need to iron out. Now, separating that from the main issue, which is the fundamental human rights of Sowore being taken by DSS. illegally. Don't forget, it's illegal because back in UK here, how we do things with the process. If you go into a shop to buy something and you put some of the things like perfume that you saw in the shop, you put in your pocket, the CCTV will pick you and say, yeah, you put something in the pocket. They will not come and start grab you and say, oh, he has stolen something. Until you walk past the till and walk out of the building, then they arrest you. Then now it is true that you are trying to steal. Now, no, hold on, sir. Hold on, give me this little chance.
We're going to spend the whole night here.
No,
Let's give him just 1 more minute.
Just 1 minute. Now, the same thing has happened. So when I said there will be a revolution, they have not allowed him to come and express the type of revolution he has done. But because we don't have a system, we don't have good professionals in Nigeria who do things properly through procedure. They work based on spontaneous reaction. They don't follow procedure. They don't follow process. That's why they call Nigeria a banana republic. That's why you see somebody like DSS man going out to go and pick somebody up. And the reason why that happened is because we have a grade 2 teacher as the president of Nigeria.
As a lecture room, or are we having a conversation?
He's trying to make a clarification.
Look, we know his point. What he's saying is this.
You don't know the point because you are not listening.
I have listened, but I'm going to spend my whole day sitting here
listening
to where hit your money, or where you didn't have your money, or this or that. Look, revolution. You are talking about revolution.
Don't spoil our party.
No. You are talking about revolution as a scientific thing.
Wait, Mazi.
We are the party for the future.
Which party?
AAC.
AAC is Sowore is in detention for 65
days. It's the beginning. It doesn't mean anything.
It does.
It doesn't mean.
Because without Sowore, there will be no AAC.
Well, there will still be AAC. AAC is a party. It's not a.
Yeah, it's INEC party. INEC. We can't even find it.
Okay, but you understand what we're saying right now, because I'm sure there are 4 of us in here, and we're trying to make a headway about these issues. So I want to come back to Priscilla. The DSS, the federal government, and their agents have arrested Sowore. They've gone to court, and the court have granted them to hold them in custody for the next 45 days. Do you think they played into his hands?
Well, I mean, obviously, he probably, if it's a question of whether or not they played into his hands, some say they played into his hands, others say that he played into their hands. Any which way, he's in detention now. I'm sure he wasn't bargaining for 45 days of detention or, longer than what he has had now. It's quite unfortunate in truth. Sadly, this is a government that brands every person that holds an opinion that they don't agree with as a terrorist. We've got the real terrorists that are killing people on a daily basis. We have the whole issue of Boko Haram that, is still undealt with. We have situations where now, whether you want to call them bandits, herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen, whatever you want to call them, they seem to be able to roam free and kill people at will. And they are not, the government struggles to make arrests or to really, demonstrate any real serious action towards them. But then when you have a character like Sowore says, I want to have a revolution, the next thing you know, the government are out in force. Agencies are out looking for him, arresting him, and then we start discussing terrorism.
Yes.
I think the government needs to demonstrate that there is a concern for the Nigerian people. Their primary responsibility is to protect the lives and the properties of Nigerians. And to date, they don't appear to be fulfilling that primary responsibility where the Nigerian people are concerned. And I think, on that note, that a real attention needs to be drawn to that.
Yes.
It's not enough. It's not sufficient to say we're praying that the problem will cease. It's not sufficient to say we have technically dealt with Boko Haram, but then lives are still being lost on a daily basis, and there is no real attention, no real action, no real commitment to preventing it, to protecting those who are still alive, and to ensure peace in the land. So I think the government should focus a little bit more on that and less on, tagging everybody that disagrees with them as a terrorist. I think that It's absolutely wrong on that basis, on that note, because the real issues are there. Holding him for 45 days will not stop the killings. It's already happened today. It will continue tomorrow and the day after. Whatever investigations that they say they're going to do, I don't think justifies a 45-day detention. He should be released, and that should be done immediately. And government should, and DSS and everybody else responsible, should get on with the business of protecting Nigerians.
Okay, so but Mazi, what do you think? What happens from here with him behind bars?
I mean,
Do you think
yeah.
this would turn into like it will ginger more Nigerians, to get on the street? Then maybe some groups will be formed. Because, I mean, what do you think the reaction would be? Would people just say, it is Sowore's cup of tea, let him be behind bars? Or would these encourage more Nigerians to want to say, enough is enough?
Okay, put it this way. When I was growing up, yeah, there was what the Yorubas call it, that's the lingo. It's called bomo bomo. Bomo bomo is kidnapping. Okay? I won't talk my exact age, but I'm talking about way in the 70s. Let me go forward a bit.
Tell us your real age, we demand.
In the 70s, when I was growing up, when I came, my parents took me back to Nigeria.
Yes.
There's what you call bomo bomo. It's kidnapping. What I'm saying essentially is this: kidnapping has been happening in Nigeria from time immemorial. Fulani herdsmen have been in Nigeria. We'll see them. They will stop traffic on Lagos Road. They will but there was not a problem then. The problem was the cows. It wasn't the people driving the cows. Now, all of a sudden, a Fulani man becomes president.
Yeah.
And then the cows are no more the problem. It's the people driving the cows that are a problem. It's not conspiracy theory. It is reality. You see, the people, the echelon up there ruling Nigeria are evil people. And once we take our eyes off the ball, that is their game plan. As Felani Kulapo Kuti used to say, all now plan you. You understand? This is all a game. But they're playing a dangerous, deadly game with the lives of Nigerians. Remember that during Jonathan's regime, Boko Haram, even Jonathan said he didn't believe it because they knew, said it was contrived. So now, all of a sudden, we have Fulani herdsman problem. It's all contrived. You see, all these things now plan. If we sit down here till tomorrow, talk grammar, it's what we should focus on. Is the dangerous people.
So what do you think is the plan?
The plan is to destabilize.
Is it a group of people working against the effectiveness of the Buhari
to create chaos? Even Buhari people did it during their own time. They did it against Jonathan.
So there are people who are wasting the lives of innocent Nigerians
to hold power.
Just to what?
Not to scatter, to hold power. Power. Look, let me tell you, the president of Nigeria is one of the most powerful presidents in the whole world by virtue of his power. You see, this Sowore way would they talk. If he become president today, he will be worse than Buhari because when he sees the power, where he control, he can summon the IG of police and say, go and carry that Mazi. I will run. But I'm just saying, sorry, I'll let you. So essentially, we can sit down here, talk grammar, this one. I am saying categorically that what is happening in Nigeria today, now plan. Sometimes plan that went wrong.
Okay, so that's fine. Anyway, I think Mazi, someone said work by Mazi. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure.
That means well done for you.
Well done for you. Oh, okay, that's good. Anyway, please, if you're commenting on our Facebook page, please put where you're commenting from so that we would know, we would announce it, of course. And remember, our phone numbers is still open for your contribution. It is 020-800-46100. I'll take that again. Okay, it's there on the screen. Wherever you're watching us from, just call us. Let's have your contribution. Okay, so what else do I have here? Another person say confirm Baba Wagba Isa. Okay.
I think those are his friends.
All they are doing is to destabilize the government. Period. Okay, that's the. Okay, I have lots of comments here that I'm not reading. As a matter of fact, okay, there's a lot. I'm going to come back to the comments very soon. But then you wanted to
say
react to what
yes.
Mazi said.
I think this was the initial thinking of many people when Buhari first came in. They were thinking that the PDP will fight back, corruption will fight back.
Yes.
And they will try to destabilize the government. Mm-hmm. But what we have now realized is that we thought PDP, APC was dissociated from PDP because we have Buhari in.
Yes.
Now we are now beginning to see that APC is actually equal to PDP because most of the people that stole money in PDP, they are now fully back in APC.
Yes.
Like
they were always there from the beginning.
No, some of them have not become
just hold on.
ministers.
I'll let you finish. Let me just get this call. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for calling
Good
us.
evening.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Yomi Machiagbe. I'm calling from the UK.
Okay, Yomi. Thanks for joining us. Can we have your contribution quickly?
Yes. It's more or less, I guess you're talking about the issue on Sowore.
Yes.
And mine, I'm trying to probably contact this onto the panelists. I think I recognize you, Shegun Opanuga and then Patricia. Patricia being a lawyer.
Priscilla.
Do you think we have an understanding of what our constitution is? And
Okay.
the rights that are
I want you to be quick because we have 4 people lined up.
No.
4 other people lined up to give us their contribution. Yes.
The reason why I've asked is that do we have an understanding of the provisions that our constitution provides as citizens of Nigeria in terms of airing our grievances and how the government perceives that? Because now, with them now using the Terrorist Act on Sowore, that is now taken into a different dimension.
Yes.
Than whatever his intentions are with revolution now. So my understanding is that what provisions do our constitution have, and do we need to now have what we call an amendment to now clarify what exactly rights as Nigerians, and how do we take those grievances across without having to have a Gestapo using intimidation by our security forces on us.
Thank you very much. That's a good question. Thank you. Well, I want you to respond to that, but let's quickly take another caller. Hello? Hello? Oh no, what did I do? I think I cut you off. Please, can you call back? Apologies. We'll need you to call back so I can have your contribution. You were saying something.
Yes, what I was saying is that Buhari, immediately he came after the second term, we are beginning to see that the problem we had with PDP, corruption, things not being done, no job, no this, is now more prevalent. Now, Nigeria is now being tagged as the poverty capital of the world. That was not happening during the PDP. So how come Buhari could not master his game quickly to ensure that the yearnings of the people is actually listening to them? He doesn't listen.
Okay.
That's the problem. Buhari doesn't listen. He's a military man. We know Buhari likes force. He likes to do things with force and rule. And unfortunately, the rule is no longer playing. Remember, we cannot say Buhari has won the second term.
Yeah.
We cannot say he has won the second term.
Okay.
It's still in court. So, Buhari has not got the mandate to be president of Nigeria as of now.
Yeah.
So he's just being president because it's an ongoing issue in the court. The tribunal might change that in the next few more months. We never know.
Okay.
So there's an issue going on. The acceptability of Buhari is beginning to come into questioning, even in the International Committee of Nations. They are beginning to question, because remember the Shiite movement that were kind of
okay, then let me take this. Hello, thanks for calling. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello.
So can you join the program, please?
Can you reduce the volume of your TV set or maybe your phone or your laptop?
Just trying to do the weather.
Thank you. Hello, are you with me? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Demola. I'm calling from Manchester.
Okay, Demola, thanks for joining us. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I'm going to be very quick anyway. First of all, I'm going to speak about the man in suit. I think it's because of people like him that Sowore got into this trouble. You know, it's not addressing the issue here. It's not even addressing the issue of what's the problem in Nigeria. He was talking about his political parties, the problem of corruption in his political party, etc., etc. Sowore is AAC. AAC is Sowore. And you guys have not been able to actually tell Sowore straight and direct that he is not a politician.
Okay.
He is not a politician. I mean, he hasn't got a base. Where is his base? Ask Sowore, where is his local government today? If you want to become Nigeria's president, you must have a base. You must at least have representation in every part, if not every part of the country, some part of the country. That is not, AAC doesn't get that. So the idea now blaming Buhari and talking about people in PDP moving to APC, that is not the problem. Sowore declared revolution, right? Now they are trying to embellish it. People are trying to say it could be this revolution, it could be that revolution. That is not the fact. Sowore, I have listened to more than 4 videos where I watched Sowore talking about his own kind of revolution. There is a point where he says the next day there's not going to be DSS. There is one he says he's going to remove the president. There is another one that he says he has had contact with a proscribed organization, the IMF. So if any one of us here, I mean, you are the president or the leader of the country, and somebody is telling, telling the whole world that he is recruiting a proscribed organization to declare a revolution. I don't think DSS will leave him. I mean, you see, he has been speaking about this revolution for 2-3 weeks without anybody actually paying attention. Personally, I wasn't actually paying attention to him. I became very conscious the day I heard him talking about, I have spoken to people, the El Shaki people,
okay.
You understand, and they have agreed to join the revolution. Now, we have seen what El Shaki men, what they've done in Abuja in the last 2 or 3 months.
Yes.
Virtually every time they come out, there is a problem, bloodletting. Right. How do you now want those people to join your revolution? You want those people to join the path of revolution, and you want DSS to leave you? No. It is not that Nigerian government that played into Sowore's hand. It is Sowore's mouth, right, that pushed him into that trouble.
Okay. Thank you. Priscilla wants to respond to what you're saying. Just hold on.
The Shiite protesters, I think let's be clear on this. They didn't come out with guns.
Yeah.
They didn't come out with weapons. They became victims of the police using their own weapons. So I think it's fair to clarify that. But let's not make it sound as though they came out for trouble.
Priscilla, so can I correct you there, or can I actually make a contribution, right? Where you say they didn't come out with weapons,
yes,
right? Under international law, if you take a stone, right? A stone and stone the security agents, that is actually more or less a weapon.
No.
But at what point did they throw the stones? We shouldn't.
You see, in Kaduna, you said they don't have a weapon. What happened in Kaduna?
No. Let's not get carried away. You were speaking about Abuja, and I was responding to Abuja. We're not going to tour around Nigeria. We're not going to tour around Nigeria. But I think if they threw stones, it was probably after they had been attacked, and not before.
So that I hope-
because at least for the recent protest, they had done it peacefully.
Okay,
But that said, that organization has been proscribed.
But that was just about a few days ago.
Sorry?
Okay then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate your contribution, but I just want to make sure enough people contribute as much as possible.
There was a question that was
thank you
asked.
very much.
We haven't attended.
Hold
to that.
on.
Lest the question disappears from the first caller.
It's
earlier.
not going to. I mean, I'm just getting too many.
Okay,
Can
I address the question
Yes,
that he
please,
asked
go
regarding
ahead.
the Constitution? I will say this. One of the biggest problems we have is the way Nigerians treat the Constitution. Nigerians themselves as citizens are the problem with the Constitution.
Yes,
They will start off by telling you, what Constitution? We didn't gather. Whether you gathered, you didn't gather. It is our primary governing instruments. So whether you agree with it, you don't agree with it, it affects you. You're bound by it. That's number one. Now, we are also the people who have disrespected or disregarded the Constitution before this particular government, and I'll explain. Part of our Constitution gives rise to our Electoral Commission. And within that, INEC specifies and says that you must present, this, that, the other, if you want to become president of the country. Nigerians in 2015 said, we don't care. Everybody else that were running for the office of president or vice president submitted according to the requirement, except for one candidate. And everybody backed him and said it was okay. So when we disregard our Constitution and he comes into office and does not abide by the Constitution, what do we expect? We have to take responsibility for our actions.
Yeah.
And we must not just throw it out there and act as though we're not part of the problem.
That's a very good
The
one.
other issue is that we also do not know what our Constitution says.
Most
And
Nigerians, you want to
the
blame
vast
that
majority.
the vast majority of Nigerians don't read. Hello?
No, I don't agree with that. They read.
I know that's one issue we were trashing out in one event. Okay, but we're going to touch on that. Hello, thanks for calling.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
your name? Where are you
sensitive to that.
calling from?
I'm Saeed Ayene calling from New York.
Okay, Saeed, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Let's have your contribution,
Yeah.
Saeed.
Yeah. Mazi,
Yes, sir.
yeah, this is Ayene.
Hey, Ayeni.
What Sowore is fighting for is more than Sowore right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could remember what this guy, Bob Marley said, until you emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Don't better ourselves, can free ourselves.
Free our mind. We should have no fear for atomic energy.
Oh, no,
Now, what is happening in Sudan? The professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, they combine with the commoners, common people.
Yes.
They flush out Oman Bashir.
Okay.
That is not done.
Okay.
The military came in. The military were playing games with ordinary people, with professionals. They stood their ground. That where were you people?
You're talking about Sudan now.
Where were you when Oman Bashir was misruling this country? You did not do anything. Now you want to read where you did not sow.
Okay.
The people they face the military. Hands down.
Okay.
Right now, we know what the people are going through in Sudan right now.
Okay.
Until Nigerian professionals, ordinary Nigerians realize that what is happening in Nigeria is injustice.
Okay.
To pay 30,000 minimum wage is even a problem in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's
It
sad.
will take 36 years and 1 month. That is 29, that is 12 million and 90,000. That is what a senator collects as monthly allowance. And we want Nigeria, we want peace to be in that country, we want justice to be in that country, until Nigerians themselves realize that what is happening should never continue. The status quo should never remain the same again. Meanwhile, Sowore might have maybe initiate the reaction. This is going to be a chain reaction. Nobody knows where it's going to end. This is not about AC or AAC or AAC. No, it's more than Sowore. Somebody somewhere has to initiate it. And
Okay.
it might be wrong, his approach might be wrong, But somebody somewhere has to start something somewhere. So that everybody will be carried along and go along and flush people out. These people, they are taking Nigeria as a business. They have Nigeria to them is a business.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Panoga wants to respond.
Sorry, I just want to buttress what you were saying. I want to say this categorically that one, Sowore has been arrested illegally. That's number one. His fundamental human rights has been abused. It's been violated. Two, Sowore should not be put under a custody for 45 days for interrogation for things that he has not actually activated, and they cannot say, the DSS cannot say they don't know Sowore. And the other caller that was saying that Sowore said this, Sowore said that, I believe that he was exaggerating it because he must have been a Buharist. Another thing is we have to understand one thing. Sorry, sir. We have to understand one thing that
somebody has to be arrested.
No, Sowore does not have to be arrested in this particular situation because he has not committed any offense. What he said was exactly the same thing that is in the mind of everyone. He's just the one that was bold enough to come out and say it.
Somebody has to be the shade initiator. In chemistry, there is a chain initiation, then there is chain reaction, there is chain termination. Somebody has to initiate the shade.
Okay.
Somebody that will initiate the chain will never be part of the reaction, will be part of the reaction.
Okay.
Then there will be the chain termination.
Thank you, sir.
Somebody that will initiate the chain.
I hope the callers are going to allow my guests in the studio. Thank you. Thank you. It is a serious issue. I have like loads of calls lined up, you know.
Yes, as I was saying, first of all, people need to remove emotion when it comes to professionalism. We have to make sure we deal with issues according to its merits. The issue in AAC is an AAC issue. We are dealing with that. The issue of arrest of Sowore calling for revolution is a separate issue. We are dealing with that. Nigerians are now, what did you not know
what
about?
Would the AAC, okay, what would you just finish quickly?
The right now, Sowore, the DSS has now played into the hands of Sowore because what many people were not talking about Sowore before now, they are now beginning to get involved in it. That this issue is serious, is more than Sowore. So now it means that Sowore has now achieved his aim. So people are now beginning to talk.
Well,
so
for 45 days,
45 days,
what would your party be doing?
I will first of all, everything is not a legal issues in court. We have to institute a court, a lawyer to go and fight against that 45 days detention order.
Let me take this caller. Hello, caller. Thanks for calling in. Where you calling from? Finally. Apologies, sir. But it's good to have you join us.
Yes, okay. Yeah, it's Chris speaking. You might recognize the voice. No, I don't think you do you?
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, okay. Let me, well, first of all, let me say, good job. You're doing a good job there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a few minutes, maybe just a couple of minutes. But I just want to say, I've not had the whole of the conversation that's been going on, but I just want to say what Sowore did is what any right-thinking person, any responsible Nigerian should be doing. Now, it might be any sort of, it might be, like the other guy put it, revolution of ideas or whatever kind of revolution. Nigeria indeed needs a revolution. The problem is the citizens. See, sometimes a lot of people blame it on the president. I don't really think the president is the problem. Yeah, we have an ineffectual president, a president who, I'll just tell you true, a president who does not have what it takes to be a president. So I would blame the citizens more. I'll put the blame on the doorstep of the citizenry. Now, why do I say so? We do not know the powers we possess as citizens. We do not know that, look, we are meant to be calling the shots. We are meant to say, okay, this is what we want, and the president will do our bidding. We are yet to realize that. Now, look at this now. Despite the fact that Sowore could remain in America, he's an American citizen, he can stay there, enjoy his life, his kids are going to be Americans, he don't have to worry about nothing. But this guy has made the sacrifices, left America, come back to Nigeria to fight for the betterment of our country. Yet, nobody feels bothered. People are not bothered. Nigerians live in hell, but we're scared of dying. We're all scared of dying. I don't know why. We've already experienced hell. What we scared of dying for again? Now look at what's happening in Hong Kong. Today I had a BBC journalist. Some other journalist asked him how the journalist who was on ground in Hong Kong, seeing what's going on, the riots. You know, the riots have been going on for so long.
Yes.
Now, he was questioned. They asked him what he thinks about the whole riot going on. What's going to be? What's the word again? I can't remember. What's he going to take from it? He said, look, he saw the passion in the guys. Most of them were youths. He saw the passion in their eyes. When you look at him, let me just quote the guy. He said, when you look at their eyes, you know they're fighting for the future.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, just 1 minute. Hold on. Let me finish.
But we Nigerians are yet to we don't think that way. We yet to realize that.
Thank you very much, Chris.
They live the good life. They live this good life in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is one of the safest places. It's one of the best places to live in. But these guys are still fighting to better
their lives.
But we are sacked. We're sat in our lazy bombs. Nobody wants to die, but we live in hell.
Thank you.
Hell, literally hell. There are 1 million. Like I tell people, there are 1 million ways to die in Nigeria. 1 million. You can die at any point in time. It might be a bullet from the highest match. It might be a bullet from a rogue soldier or rogue policeman. Accidents on the road. So many ways to die. But yes, we don't want to fight to better our law.
Thank you, Bobby Christopher.
Yes.
Bobby, hold on.
Yes.
Bobby, 1 minute. I think one of my guests wants to respond to you quickly.
You need to understand one thing, sir, that Buhari signed in before the election, not too young to rule. But when he was doing his ministerial post and everything, he never put any of the young people in to even taste anything like power. That's not acceptable.
No. Now look at this. Now I'm not vouching. I'm not vouching for the PDP candidate and all that. Now the youth. What? When some people got disappointed, I looked at this and I said, look, these guys are not serious. Some other candidates promised to give women and the youth 40% of his cabinet. None of them tapped into it. Nobody keyed into that. Okay, some of us keyed it, but at the end of the day, what did we allow? Now look. When I say we Nigerians, we are not a serious people. Sometimes I like to call us foolish citizens. Like why? Because look at the elections today. Look at the elections right in our faces. Buhari rigged the election. We used the military to suppress us, to oppress us, us. Rigged the elections, and what? We have accepted it. We're saying, oh, leave and for God, leave and for God.
Okay. Okay, Bobby, that's a good one. Thank you very much, Bobby Christopher. I know you're calling from Manchester. Okay. Oh, did you say no? Manchester. He's in Manchester. The caller before him was from New York. So, but anyway, my dear, we'll expect your call again. There are a number of callers we're expecting to call in. Thank you very much, Bobby. Okay. We appreciate your call. Okay. My question is this. Some people are really worried and they say there's a certain fear of some threat of us being faced or being taken back to the days of Abacha.
Yes.
Do you think we've gotten to that stage in Nigeria?
Abacha is a friend to Buhari. Buhari supports Abacha's way of doing this back in 1992. He has said it himself. He said it's not, because remember, it was the PTF chairman under Abacha. Buhari likes Abacha's way because that was what he did himself when he was the head of state. He was doing things in the draconian way, Decree 2, killing people by gun. So it's not as if maybe are we going back to Buhari's Abacha's era.
Do you think we might get to that stage?
We are already in the stage.
Can we have your contribution, Nazi?
I was almost falling asleep. But I'm back again. You see, what I'm saying essentially is this. I don't sleep a lot. I was saying something because I am an apostle of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, and everything that's happening in Nigeria today was already prophesied by him, either in his talks, his music, his philosophy. And I was saying earlier, he say, all now plan you. You see, one of the major tools to create dissatisfaction in any society is fear. If you can create fear, you understand? That's why I said earlier that without saying both sides, you see, when you play chess, sometimes you sacrifice a pawn. Sometimes you can even sacrifice a queen, which is one of the strongest thing in a chess game, just to justify, like Niccolo Machiavelli says, the end justifies the means. It's all about power play. All these things where they happen. Look, when you subjugate people will not get food to poverty, when you have pastors, bishops, you get me, having throngs of multitudes
And private jet.
preaching to you this, that, because they thrive on poverty. That is why during elections, they will come, they will give you rice, they will give you groundnut oil, and you will vote. It is a deliberate system to subjugate the poor. So when we come, you see everything where we see so now power play. Sowore is part of the chess game. Hold on, calm down. Sowore is part of the chess game. I am going to mention names now. The power players. You have people like Tinubu, you have Atiku, you have Buhari, you have all these people. In any constitutional discussion, they will tell you that democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people. Majority wins the election.
Vote.
But in reality, majority wins, but few rule. Very few now they rule us. From Obasanjo, the same players, the same names. Babangida, Obasanjo will write letter today. Babangida will do this tomorrow. Buhari will win. This one will lose. This one will do this. Sowore na pawn. That they play that they use and play. That's why I talked earlier. Say when Sowore during Jonathan, they use Sowore to remove Jonathan. Because all of us that didn't want Jonathan at that time, any news, any information, go to Sahara Reporter, I go there.
Okay.
So maybe we know they come, they talk grammar, they talk this, they talk that. The same people who ruled Nigeria before, they rule Nigeria today. Now fella talk am. Once we open our senses, not so we talk here, they talk grammar this morning. I beg you.
I want you to react to that. Are we going back to the days of Abacha?
Well, naturally, if care is not taken, we are certainly reversing, aren't we? Something needs to be done.
Do you think in a democratic government, the President Muhammadu Buhari, who we all know has taken off the uniform and is now branded in an agbada, you think that he would want that with the faces trying to, he has projected to the international community?
It's not about what I think. It's about asking the question, what's the expression of democracy by this government? Has there been a real expression of democracy? What's happened to the social contract that comes in a democracy? What happens with the, upholding the rule of law? What happens, within a democracy, government of the people, for the people, by the people? It's not supposed to be a one-man ruling. You're supposed to we have three arms of government. The question is, what has happened to those three arms of government today? Nigerians are calling it rubber stamped. We're now, the National Assembly is said to be rubber stamped, which means that they are going to agree to whatever the executive says. We're yet to find out we've seen a number of moves within the judiciary. It is the test case of the election that will tell us whether or not they are rubber stamped. And we are on the road in the reverse. We are not on the road to the next level that was sold.
Let me hear you, Mazi.
Yeah, I'd like to. You see, that's why I like to sit down with the panelists like this. She's what you call. She's like my wife. When I do, she will calm down. You see the way she they talk, very calm. Means I already listen to her. But let me add something to what you talk. To agree, you. Let's make the guy wait, so that my brain doesn't go off. You see. When Buhari came on to power,
ask him to hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi. Can you just hold on? Let my guest finish with his contribution, then I'll come back to you. Just hold on 1 minute.
Thank you. When Buhari came into power, he came on the mantra of change and anti-corruption. Immediately he started. Everybody stood up. That is the fifth element that we're fighting. When you say corruption was fighting, you know what they used? Do you know the tool they used? Rule of law. Now, to get the rule of law, even Lord Bingham, who is the father of rule of law, he says rule of law is not built in granite. It can be flexible.
Okay.
Now, hold on, sorry. Now, the rule of law, now they first begin to use against Buhari, say he's arrested. Meanwhile, who go do rule of law? Due process, not be judges. Not be all the judges then they find say then they corrupt. So if you want to do rule of law, you arrest this man, you carry and go court, isn't it? Okay, we give you this, we do that. The judge when they court, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, former Justice of Nigeria, has been found to be very corrupt. That is the Baba of the Baba. So what are you talking about rule of law? So sometimes in a society like Nigeria, you understand? Sometimes, like I said, Lord Bingham has already said that the rule of law is patterned to a system or a society. You see what Buhari is doing, like just agreeing, well, contributing what you're saying. We're not going back to Abacha's time. Buhari is in his second term. He now realized, look, Nigeria not there for rule of law. If you do rule of law, all these people then I will come back. I don't want to mention name. You get me? They're fighting. They're using rule of law as, okay, Sowore for instance. My AAC gentleman in suit, he said Sowore was arrested illegally. You have a legal mind. Now, due process, you arrest a man on certain allegations. You go to court, according to the constitution, which she had referred to, says that you cannot detain someone more than 48 hours. But if need be, if for national security reasons, you can apply to the court for an extension of that detention. So be it, until the court deems fit that, okay, listen, let's proceed with this, or let's do that.
Can you put your phone on mute? Sorry. Hello, caller. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Hello? Hello?
So be it that if the government had gone to court, in actual fact, they asked for a 90-day extension. Yes. And the court granted 45, that if need be, come back. That, to me, is due process. There's nothing illegal in it. Now, remember that the charge in itself is either treason or terrorism. Those are high charges. You get me? It's just like murder. You don't treat them, say, okay, go home. You understand? Even though it's political, but he should have known when he was playing with fire.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, I do apologize, caller. Can you please call back? There was just a lot of noise that was coming in. You could have kept us on mute, but I asked you to wait on, and I apologize for clicking the wrong button. I'm pleading with you to please call back. So, you were going to say,
yes, the rule of law, was it being violated in the way the DSS went about it, because people shouted and said, no, you must, what's the name of the other man, Falana, quickly kicked in and said, I'm going to speak because Sowore has called me. And he said, when he gave a statement, he said, when he said he was going to defend Sowore, people started calling and saying, Egbon, why are you doing that to this guy? So it tells you that there is already a plan, something for against Sowore to subdue him. Subdue Sowore and subdue the youth. as usual.
I don't know why you are calling a 48-year-old man youth.
You understand?
That's part of the problem.
No.
How can you call Sowore youth?
It's not you.
But he's
Okay, so
leading a lot of young people.
sorry?
though.
But
He's
yeah,
leading a lot
he's
of
a-
young
Yeah, but it's not a youth.
It's not you.
It's just leader of the
No, but
youth.
he said suppress Sowore, right? Then you suppress
Then
the
you
youth.
suppress the youth.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
Now-
I'll take that.
The youth of Nigeria have already been decimated. And the man said, somebody possibly from Sowore, and I know that person. It's going to be no one but somebody we already know. Already calling his friend and saying, why do you want to go and defend this young man? And he said, because he has not committed any offense. And the man right in the Sowore, the second in command, he knows he hasn't committed any offense. But he can't go and talk to Buhari because Osinbajo and Buhari, they are like this. Somebody
no,
down.
we are going to.
Wait, I'm not going too
No,
far.
he's trying to make a point.
Yeah,
Yeah, like this. What does that mean?
Osinbajo should have known better
Yes.
that what Buhari was about to do, was against the law. But Buhari would not consult somebody like Osinbajo before he takes action.
What did
Because,
Buhari do?
Listen,
What did
he
Buhari
was the
do?
one that told the DSS people.
Were you there?
Listen, we know the.
You know, you're wearing
we
there.
know the shots.
That's what I
We
said. They're
know-
all suppositions.
Look-
Anything you say Buhari did this.
Remember, Buhari is not a Democrat. Is he a Democrat?
Yeah, he was like elected democratically.
No, he wasn't elected.
Oh.
Who elected Buhari?
The INEC said he was elected until proven otherwise.
Oh, should
he is the president of Nigeria.
No. I think that this is what we are
Until
getting-
proven otherwise,
Mr.
Buhari is the president of Nigeria, whether they like it or
Mr.
not.
Mazi, as far as
They've gone to court until the court decides, until the Supreme Court decides.
Sorry, Mr. Mazi.
Yes,
Let us take this one by one for
Yes.
the benefit of our audience.
Yes.
So they can understand what we're saying.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes.
These people back home, they must understand.
I'm listening. Go on. Go on. Forget it.
They're
I'm
not dealing
listening.
with idiots. Again.
Yes. Okay.
Under a sane society, the declaration that INEC did
Yeah.
under an election that is inconclusive, that is not credible, and the international community even adjudged it as not credible, and you're already declaring somebody a president when the other people are already having forensic evidence to say that there are some places that have not been counted.
These are all suppositions.
No. This is
until the court decides otherwise.
Mr. Mazi, I believe
These are political comments.
I believe
These are political statements.
Sorry, sir. Can I just say this, please?
No, because you said you want the audience at
Yeah,
home.
but you're not
You can't be
giving me-
telling them that when INEC declared
sorry.
him because
Can
you
I
have
finish?
a missing server. These are political
Can you let me finish?
suppositions
No,
that
can
the
you
court
finish?
will decide on.
I'm going to finish this statement.
Until, if you believe in the rule of law,
Can you-
hold on, sir. Sorry, not
Yeah.
disrespect.
No.
If you believe in the rule of law,
You don't allow me to finish.
if you believe in the rule of law and the court is before the Supreme Court, you wait for the Supreme Court. If you trust, if you believe, let the Supreme Court say yes or no. Until that time, Buhari is the president of Nigeria.
Let me hear from you.
Thank you very much. To conclude, before I was rudely interjected, I strongly believe that because we have a kangaroo country, that there's no rule of law in an international, in a sane society, there is no way a president will be declared when they are already on objection. Remember, in America, during the time of Al Gore wanted to go to court. The electoral body would never try to declare Bush the president until they have gone to speak to Al Gore to calm down and not take it to court. And that's why Al Gore now said, for the sake of America, I concede. That was when they can now declare Bush the president.
You are wrong. There's what you call the chart problem. You know the chart when you took the ballot box, the ballot paper. They were in Florida. It was found that the CHARZ, CHARZ, they said that many, so they had to do a recount. It wasn't because they went to beg Al Gore or Al Gore declared. You understand? So let's get this back. Since you said you want to talk to viewers, don't be, excuse me?
Go back and read about that.
Read about what I'm telling you live.
We have all these issues in Nigeria about insecurity, infrastructural decay, basically security as it is today. How do you think we can achieve national projects, security and development in Nigeria?
National security in Nigeria right now.
Yes.
Everything depends solely on this psyche and mindset of what Buhari has in stock for the next level he promised the people. because everything he has promised the people is against what people already are saying. He gave 100 billion to some terrorist group called Miyetti Allah or whatever you call them, who have already been declaring that they will kill anybody that would want to stop them from infringing on people's land. And people are already being killed already. And he gave 100 billion to them, and without going through due process of the Senate. You see, this is not right. This we are under military rule, but in Agbada. And Buhari has come back to do what he used to do.
So can we achieve national progress in Nigeria?
It can be achieved, but until then, first of all, we need to sit down and tell ourselves some truth. And we have to accept responsibility for our wrongs. And I think it's very important that there needs to be some degree of fairness and justice. Failure of all of that, because we're at this point now, because people feel that there's a lot of injustice in the land. As I've said already, there is absolutely there appears to be no consideration or regard for the people of Nigeria, for the citizens, of whom the government is supposed to be their primary protector and so on. So it can be achieved. The 2014 conference is there. The outcomes of that conference, I think if there was an effort made to implement that, for instance, that will bring some level of peace to the country. I think we need to look at the way we do things. The current administration need to address the imbalance that we've seen a lot of. There needs to be a real effort being made with regards to inclusion, because we have so many different. Everybody are not from the same part of Nigeria, and our constitution states it and demands it. Everybody must be included by federal character, and at the moment, people are not included. People are feeling completely left out. We've got the whole situation with Biafra. You've got now, the Afenifere are rising up. The people are also rising up in the north. We have the situation in the Middle Belt. All of these things need attention, and I think, Mr. President, it is imperative that he sits up and appears to, show some degree of concern for the outcries of Nigerians. Failure to do that, there'll be no peace. And, there is no point in attempting. I do recollect, actually, during the Goodluck administration, where, there was so much unrest. And I remember some of the utterances that Mr. President was making at the time as a citizen. And I said, and I asked the question on a program then, I said, what makes him think that if there is no peace in this administration, that should he become Mr. President, that there will be peace in his administration? Little did I know that it will be just as that. I mean, it's very simple.
If not worse.
It's very simple.
Yes.
It's not rocket science. So, let's pay attention. More especially for, don't do it for us, but do it for the next generation.
Okay.
The next generation are his grandchildren. The next generation are, his lineage. He should do it for them.
Let me hear Mazi.
You see, during the last election, I pitched my tent with Buhari. Today, I'm highly disappointed in him. I'm disappointed not necessarily because he's ineffective. Well, you could put it that way. But because he has been unable to identify that they are destabilizing his government. He cannot put his pulse on it.
Yeah.
He can't. And I'll tell you what, the people destabilizing Nigeria,
Yes.
they are within his nose.
And he's doing nothing about it.
It's not that he's doing nothing about it, he's ineffective about
Yes.
it. And that I have against him. Having said that, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'll now wake up, eat eba and egusi in the morning, which I did this morning, and I had an egusi this morning, still worrying me.
These are our Rosa brand.
And then now decide that Sowore is the man that is going to take us to Uhuru land. No. Because it's the devil, but I can say categorically, as done here, I am highly disappointed in Mr. Buhari, because he can't seem to contain it. But I will finally say that, you see, once we take our eyes off the ball, what we should realize is, not be only Buhari, the people, they are trying to destabilize Nigeria for their own nefarious gains.
Okay, and if I might cut you short there, Mazi, thank you for that. A recent photos, quite a number of photos of Sowore in a meeting with the indigenous people of Biafra's coordinator or founder, that is Nnamdi Kanu, was everywhere on social media. I think I have a photo, one of those photos. Sowore and Nnamdi Kanu were seen together. They had a meeting across the table. They took pictures outside the building. They must have had a progressive or a strong discussion.
Yes.
And a lot of people raised an eyebrow about this, seeing them together. Do you think Sowore shouldn't have been seen with Nnamdi Kanu?
What's the big deal? What is the big deal? They sat down, they had a conversation, they had lunch, and so what? What does that mean?
And this is actually before
who is
the
Nnamdi
revolution.
Kanu? Is Nnamdi Kanu a murderer? Is Nnamdi Kanu?
He's an enemy of the state.
According to who?
Can I contribute?
Yes,
or you want to contribute?
Yeah, okay.
You want to contribute?
Yeah, okay.
Can I
Okay.
just say something?
Yes,
Bear
yeah.
with me just a
Yes,
second.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
whilst we're on photographs, can I just say that made mention of the president's picture picking his teeth.
Yes.
I think that again, there's nothing wrong with that picture. We all pick our teeth, don't we? But we may not take a photograph of it, but he's being photographed, practically all the time. But I think it was in poor taste. For his people to the media men of Mr. President, I don't know how to describe them. They should understand certain things. It was in poor taste in the first place to release it, and it was even more so in poor taste and highly insensitive to release it at a time as this.
Yeah.
But there is nothing wrong with that photograph. But it was a poor decision to
No,
put
of
it out
course,
there.
definitely.
That's
Why should you even take him a picture while he's picking his teeth? That means you practically take his picture when he's strolling into his bathroom,
Or
in his
Zara.
bath.
You see
I
that-
mean,
that
or the
picture-
other,
that
yeah,
picture
the
was not-
other
was not a
room. I don't
professional
understand.
picture. It must have been a miniature picture taken by some of his
Well,
friends, and it went viral. That's it.
Can
It's
we-
not. It's not.
It was a miniature. It was professionally taken.
No. It might not have been taken even now. It might have been taken. We don't know when it was taken. So I don't think personally I'll be discussing about that picture issue.
No.
Because there are more
At
issues
a
going on.
time like this
Yeah.
is when
Yes.
we got it.
And people
We did
brought it
not.
out
No.
because of, listen,
No. We
just
didn't
to
get
decide
it.
this-
We didn't say it.
to say
Don't
this one,
worry.
look at the
We
man.
are abreast of the situation.
Yeah.
So we get all the pictures, any news coming out from the presidency. We tend to see it. You understand? So seeing that photograph now and with the state of the nation, it's
There might be another act to destabilize.
whose act? Who took the pictures?
We don't know.
Who was there
Who took the
in
picture?
Aso Rock?
But who took
Let's
the
let
picture?
Mazi.
So
continue.
Mazi, okay, let's
So
have you.
going beyond the picture, that is Nnamdi Kanu
Yes.
and Sowore.
The pictures of Nnamdi Kanu
And
and
Sowore,
Sowore.
going beyond that, I give you a very, very succinct example. Now, in America, if you have been to jail, say
Yes.
5 years, after 3 years, they give you parole. That you can go out and after 3 years, be on best behavior. And one of the provisos that they give you for letting you off early is that you must not associate with certain characters. You must not associate with certain characters that will impugn your integrity, your rehabilitation, shady characters. That is one.
Not shady characters, known felonies.
Known felonies.
So your fellow prisoners, anybody that's been,
or someone who is known to us to be
No, known felonies.
known felonies.
There's a
Now,
big
okay, fine.
difference.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
But you know where I'm going. Now, if Kanu has been declared a persona non grata to the Nigerian people and government,
Yes.
now if you, as a supposed opposition leader, is now calling for revolution, and it is now saying that actually you have been seen to be associating with people or persons who have vowed to destabilize or break up Nigeria.
Yeah.
You understand? That is one.
It's the wrong time.
That's wrong. Then secondly, even if you check, when Sowore, when he called for the revolution,
Yes.
it was on the Monday, the 5th. That was the day Zazaki, the head of the Shiite leaders, was meant to be arraigned in court for bail hearing. And at that time in Abuja was on high alert. Now, if you are seen to be associating with a persona non grata, you understand, and you are calling for a revolution, very, very optical revolution call for revolution on a day when you know that the security services and the country, as it were, are on high alert, then you start to connect, you start to cross the T's, and you start to dot the I's, and you start to skip the wherefores, and you start to skip the whereases, and you start to skip the fishing expedition and confine yourself to the territorial waters of proper security situation.
Now, just to help my good friend here,
Yes.
Just for the benefit of the people who are out there, just to let you know, first of all, Sowore was not doing his revolution now under AAC. Although he was putting on an AAC beret, remember, he's under suspension of as an AAC member. So he has done a lot of illegal things. I'm not throwing him out there for him to be eaten by the eagles, but I'm just trying to say that yes, Sowore did some things. It was his own revolution. Yeah? But the issue is this. Was it a rightful revolution? But what kind of revolution was it? We don't know. So what the security forces should have done was to allow him to start and let us see what revolution he was trying to do. Another thing is this. The proactiveness of the security forces, it could have been well timed. It could have been well timed. But the good news is, at least they've taken him to court.
Yeah.
And they've given them 45 days to interrogate him.
Yeah.
So maybe
what's your take about the picture?
all these pictures, everything, and from what
yes,
our own Rosebrand has said, the man attacked Rosebrand of UK.
Mazi. His name is Mazi.
Mazi has said,
I think
it's up to the court.
that's some nice posture.
It's up to the court to decide that truly, from what he has actually put together, court will decide whether it is founded.
Yes.
And maybe that's then we can now start saying, maybe we have to start talking. The president will have to start talking.
Okay.
That why do we have this kind of things going on?
Okay.
Always
That's
coming
fine.
up. That's
Okay.
it.
That's good. Thank you very much, my panelists. I think we must have done justice to the issue we've been discussing today. Sorry, I'm just trying to check my notes to make sure we touch everything. But this would not be complete without us saying, why is it that the Fulani terrorists, like we've been hearing in the papers, especially in Enugu State, have been attacking Reverend Fathers? Pastors have been killed. There's a story about a pastor that was coming from a revival somewhere around, I can't remember now, Abuja, and he was killed in presence of his wife. The son managed to escape, but the wife is still with them. The 5 pastors that were going to the redemption camp who were also kidnapped, but thank goodness they have been released. It's like that there's a persecution of the church, persecution of the leaders of Christendom in Nigeria. Why are we having this? Now that we have a Fulani and a Muslim Fulani president, is people are going about terrorizing Nigerians, especially persecuting the church, killing the leaders of the Christian faiths in Nigeria. And I've seen some other short videos going around. These videos are from America, Europe. They seem to be taking this issue more seriously than we are taking it in Nigeria, of the Christian villages being burnt, areas with, of course, with Christians. You go there, the pillages, you burn them down, you rape their women. Why is this happening? And is the president not being informed? And what is giving them the guts to do a thing like this? And it keeps happening. I also have another video of the priest. They took to the street protesting about the killing of the priest in Enugu State. This issue stop. Mr. President, if you're listening, if your aides are listening, if the Buhari Media Center is listening, we are saying this to you. Do something about it. And to Nigerians, we can't keep turning a blind eye to this violence, to this evil that has taken over our lands. We must rise up. We must speak up against it. It is completely, absolutely unacceptable. When we talked about change, this is not the change we bargained for. And Buhari must know this. This is not the change we bargained for. The life of every Nigerian is precious. My name remains Rose Peter, but of course, before I go, I must say a big thank you to my fantastic panelists. Thank you very much. Priscilla Wipo.
Thank you for having me.
She's a broadcaster and a political analyst. Of course, Engineer Olusegun Opanuga, a political analyst, and the coordinator, AAC UK chapter. That's the AAC, African Action Congress, the Sowore Party, and of course, Mazi Abe himself, a social commentator and a political analyst. Thank you very much for your huge contribution.
Thank you.
We thank you so much for joining me. And of course, to our, that's my hand hanging. And of course, to our fantastic viewers, we're going to do this again. Just stick with us. Let's keep saying and talking these things and hoping that one day we will get a working Nigeria. And to the callers who took time to make contributions, we say a big thank you. We'll be having you again next week. Hopefully you call it. That's what I meant to say. And to Heritage Television, you've been a fantastic crew, of course. Fantastic production. Thank you very much all for joining us. My name remains Rose Peter Graham. This is Rose on All Sides. Have yourself a fantastic evening.
Meritable, Nigeria Limited, Emerald, Garden City. Meritable, Nigeria Limited, Emerald, Garden City.
Moses, Dad, my wife told me that you have bought a land and complete a good-looking duplex on it. Yes, from buying the plot to the completion only takes less than 3 months. What about Omonile? Omonile like how? I didn't deal with them. I bought the land from Meritable Nigeria Limited. Meritable? Yes, Meritable. Rachel Onega and Prince Jide Kosoko are the ambassador for Meritable, and these two individuals boost my confidence and trust that make me to buy from them. And that is not all. They even help me in building our new home. I only visit the site on completion to collect our keys and exchange paperwork, which amounts to more than double savings. Usually, for people like us living abroad, you have to take time off work so many times to travel back home to do the work, or the Yahoo contractors will show you big time. Yes, I was wondering, as I always see you every week. Let me tell you, I was in Nigeria for only 4 days and everything is campy. EQS. I didn't lose money by not going to work. Meritable is the best. What about the cost of calling them every day? They use UK number, so you will not be running up the phone bill to call them. I beg, give me their details. Telephone 020-3865-8087 or 081-734-47111. Email info@meritable.com. Their website is www.meritable.com. Meritable Nigeria Limited is the developer for Emerald Garden City Estate Series. You can even pay by installments. Our locations are Shimawa, Ibejuleki, Arepo, Agbara, Ikorodu, Mowe Ofada, and Asheshe. Meritable, build my confidence and trust.
My daughter-in-law, so how are you planning for my son's birthday? I have to cook up for her. Do you people have ogirisi there? No? It's okay. Okay, let me call you back. Mama Chijuke. Hi, Sowore Market. Please pack some ogirisi. I am going to visit my son. My daughter-in-law, it's arranged, but you must use original red oil to prepare the soup. What? I'll call you back. Mama Chijo, please include Isio Morocco, my daughter-in-law. Everything is now set, but don't forget that gold wristwatch I saw the last time I visited.
Now you can talk until you tire for just 11 kobo per second. Call all networks in Nigeria and 30 international destinations, including US, UK, China, Canada, and India for just 11 kobo per second. Dial *211# to activate.
That's it, boo-boo.
The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.